Hello, good afternoon, or good evening, rather, and welcome to this tea time kickoff between Sheffield United and Tottenham in the Premier League. We're back live with the commentaries. We've got a very good game here to bring you. There was talk that we might bring you the other match, but we've decided that there's more on this one. I know there's the Guard of Honour at Liverpool tonight, and we could have chosen that, but I think in all fairness, I think the better game is probably this one in terms of what we could see. Trevor's on, the mastermind of that brilliant Euro 2020 coverage, which I'm glad to be a part of. And he says good evening to me. He says good evening. Hello, Trevor. Nice to have you with us this evening, listening away. And he's having a well-deserved night off because he's the man who's masterminded this Euro 2020 virtually, and with the help of me, Ross and Chris along the way. And sometimes you need a night off, and he's doing just that for us tonight. And he's listening along. It's not, as you can imagine, it's not quite full. It's probably about 50, 60 people, empty seats, banners everywhere. There's a big red shirt in the middle by the centre circle over on the far side, which has got the NHS on it. And that's paying tribute to all the key workers and the NHS workers who have been working tirelessly hard since obviously what happened. And of course, social distancing, those dreaded two words, very much in focus as the team's coming to the tunnel. Before we give you the lineups, before we bring you the action, let's just catch up. Enjoying a cold one and looking forward to this game. Too right, Trevor. Enjoy it. Good evening, Russ. Hello. And this is not the only live game we'll bring you this week. We're hoping to bring two on Saturday. We'll tell you in advance which ones they might be. But one of them we're hoping will be the late one at Villa Park between Aston Villa and Manchester United. Right. While the teams are coming out onto the field, as we see Harry Kane coming out there, they're coming out not in the tunnel. They're coming out through one of the exits, I think, where the boards sit. Tottenham Hotspur and Sheffield United in the tunnel. It's all about social distancing these days in times of great need and all that in our fine world that we live in. Anyway, let's bring you the two lineups very quickly as the teams have just about walked out onto the tunnel. They're now onto the field. Sheffield United with Dean Henderson in goal. Then it's Robinson, Egan, Basham, Baldock, Berge, Norwood, the captain, Ben Osborne, who makes his first Premier League start, incidentally. Then it's Edna Stevens. So it's essentially, and then we got up front Ollie McBurney and David McGoldrick, formerly of Nottingham Forest. So essentially, it's a free at the back for Sheffield United as we go through the teams, and that's the Sheffield United side. So it's three at the back as well. Tottenham going with a conventional 4-4-2 with Hugo Lloris, the captain in goal, French captain as well. Lifted the World Cup some 2 years ago now. Sanchez, Dyer, Aurier, and Davis to the back four. Then in the midfield, Sissoko, Lo Celso, Stephen Bergwijn, and Lucas Moura. And then up front, Harry Kane returns. Harry Kane's on starts tonight as Tottenham look to try and get their European challenge back on track. Sheffield United in 10th place going into this game. Tottenham down in 8th place. Sandwiched between the two sides tonight are actually Burnley, who are in up in the dizzy heights of 9th place after our fantastic win against all the odds against Crystal Palace on Monday night. And what a fine win it was too. Ben Mee scoring the winning goal for my team, which has put us back on the European trail once again. Those with us dreaming of away trips to Aberdeen and places like that. Right, anyway, let me run through the substitutes and the referee and the officials for tonight's match. For Sheffield United, it's a bit more of a reduced bench than Tottenham, as you can imagine. Moore is the goalkeeper. Jagielka, Freeman, Jack Woodwell, Billy Sharp, one blade, of course. We've just hit one or two technical issues. We'll try and fix those for you in just a second. We'll give you the substitutes in a minute, but I'll give you the referees. I'll give you the officials in a bit more detail for you. Chris Curran is the referee tonight. He comes from Manchester. The two assistants, I'm sure you'll be able to I'm sure you can probably distinct the two officials. I'm sure it's John Massey Ellis and Scott Ledger, the two assistants, and then the fourth official is Peter Banks. And then we've got a VAR tonight, and hopefully Panini will be on, our resident VAR expert. But the real VAR man down at Stockley Park, just outside of London, is the one and only Premier League referee of his own right, Mr. Michael Oliver of County Durham. Right, let me run through those two benches. As I was saying, we'll go through the two benches in a second when we get a second or two throughout the game. Long substitutes bench to mention. Yeah, Trevor's not an advocate of VAR. I was, funnily enough, Trevor, I was an advocate of it at the start, but I'm not so sure now. And the only reason I say that is because if you remember earlier on in the season, around about Christmas time, we brought you an epic encounter between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Manchester City, where there was some controversial VAR, shall we say. As there's a nice little stat there about Harry Kane. He's faced 29 teams in the Premier League and he's only failed to score against one. That's tonight's opponents, incidentally, Sheffield United. So there's a little interesting stat there for you, all you stats people out there. You like a good stat or two. It's good to see Harry Kane out and about in a Tottenham jersey tonight as we await the start of this crucial game. But I do have to agree. The offside I think the offside malarkey is ruining the match, the quality of the games. I have to agree with Trevor on that. And this is what's been so refreshing about the Euro 2020 virtual stuff, because we haven't had VAR. So we've actually had debates on that channel, good debates with Trevor Hansen and Trevor Hill and all that lot. And it's actually been quite refreshing to see. As we look at that's in the virtual world, but here in the real world, we're all set to go. Tottenham are in the blue shirts today, attacking the goal to my right. And Sheffield United in those famous red and white stripes with dark shorts. And they take the knee before the start, which is now a custom. And then they'll kick off the start of the game as referee Chris Kavanagh from Manchester gets us away then. Here we go then. Tremendous atmosphere, and it would be brilliant. And it should be a good game. This obviously it's the appetizer to what comes up later on. That's Liverpool, Manchester City. Again, we're not covering because I don't think there's much on it now. Liverpool are champions. I just want to congratulate Liverpool for winning the championship and winning the Premier League championship. That's a great result for them and worthy winners over the course of the season. I just want to say congratulations to Jurgen Klopp and his side, and we wish them well at the Etihad Stadium today. Trevor's been on and he says, would it be interesting if it could be referred by a manager like on cricket, 2 decisions a match? Now, I like that idea, Trevor. I've got to be honest with you. I think that could be a viable option for the future. I think something that FIFA might have to look at, will do well to actually look into, because I think if you look at it that way, I think that could be a doable thing, and I think that could be a more realistic thing. No goals at the moment. We're just having 1 or 2 technical glitches, but we should have them back up and running very, very shortly. In fact, we are back up and running now with a bit of luck, and we are now as the ball spread in there towards McGoldrick. Flick on by McBurney for Sheffield United, who are attacking the 2-tiered stand. Away to my right. We are planning on doing a double bubble on Saturday, so we'll speak about that later in the week, Russ, when I get 5 minutes. It's just been a wee bit busy now. I'll have the PlayStation to stream off as well, so there may be a viable option for you to do a match on Saturday for me. But watch that space. Anyway, we've had 3 minutes gone here at Bramall Lane, which is not far from where Russ lives, actually. He lives just down the road in Rotherham, and it's a throw into Sheffield United. Robinson, to take it. Near side, in line with the edge of the Tottenham penalty area. Launch a long throw. Look as if he's going to take a long throw here. Throws it right into the penalty area where McBurney jumps inside the penalty box, and it's nodded away by Tottenham. Then the ball's been picked up by Oliver Norwood, who's Sheffield United's captain. He was born in Burnley, funnily enough, for Oliver Norwood, but never actually played for his hometown team. This is number 23 now, Osborne, making his first ever Premier League starts. Edna Stevens playing the ball in towards the back post. Of course, Arsenal were beaten here in the Premier League earlier on this season, 1-0. Although they got their revenge last weekend in the FA Cup here. By turning a 1-goal deficit into a 2-1 victory with a late goal to finish the job off. Nicholas Pepe was actually credited, I think, with man of the match that afternoon. And if you wondered why I didn't do any cup quarterfinals, it's purely and simply the day job going the way. So sometimes these things, unfortunately, do happen. And we have to cover games where we're free and in a position, viably, to do so. It's a tricky little balancing act doing the audio commentary sometimes. We'd obviously like to please everybody and say a lot of things and do commentaries on every single game. It's sometimes logistically not possible. This is Son on the far side now for Tottenham. Starting up front with Kane as a front two. It's going to be a corner here to Tottenham Hotspur in the blue. Let's not forget, they're in blue shirts tonight, Spurs. Because obviously Sheffield United wearing red and white, so there'd be a colour clash if they wore the white shirts. Sheffield United having a good season under Chris Wilder, quarter-finalists in the FA Cup. Very unlucky to lose out in the end to Tottenham's neighbours Arsenal as that corner he swung in, and then the header came in at the back post. It was Sissoko who got in there, and it went just wide in the end. Big opportunity went begging there right at the start there for Tottenham. There's the ball played in, and in fact, Sissoko, I think Kane went in for the first header. Derek Dyer flicked it on, in fact, beyond Dean Henderson, and Sissoko just couldn't stretch out a leg enough to get the necessary contact on the ball. So 6 minutes gone in the first half here with a very, very deserted Bramall Lane, of course. All matches now from now to the end of this current season play behind closed doors as McGoldrick tries a shot on the turn with his left foot. They appeal a handball, potentially, but the referee doesn't want to know. And we play on, and it's still 0-0. If you've joined us late, Sissoko has just missed a real sitter at the back post. But that's been the best opportunity thus far in the 6.5 minutes that we've been playing. Sheffield United define the odds. They were many people's favourites at the start of the season, way back last August, in fact, nearly a year ago now. A lot of people's predictions that they finished bottom with probably about 10 points. It's not turned out that way. Chris Wilder's side have played with a real character and a real spirit about him. And, of course, Chris Wilder is a Sheffield man, a Sheffield United man, a fan born and bred. As we look at one of the substitutes there, Dele Alli. Let me run through the benches, incidentally. We've got Moore, Jagielka. This is Sheffield United's bench. We'll just break off for a second because McGoldrick's in possession here for Sheffield United. Breaks the ball in there now. A chance here for Basham to come forward here. Or Burge, rather. Tries to flick that forward, but he's lost the ball now. And Son can break away here for Tottenham. He goes through the middle. Kane up ahead of him. He's got two either side. And Son gets it back on the edge of the penalty area, but the ball is cleared away by the Sheffield United defence. And here comes Sissoko again. Aurier is free on the right. He goes in field to Kane, but tried to go a bit more centrally, but he lost possession there. And the ball hooked forward. This is our second game back from the 3-month break. Of course, we brought you Crystal Palace's victory against Bournemouth a week and a half ago, which was a nice return to commentary duty. We will get Russ, and hopefully we'll have Matt. Hopefully we'll have Trevor Sports doing an odd commentary or two. I'd love to get Trevor on the game. And, of course, Russ is our man at Hull at the moment. He's at Hull. Herbie Kane and Britta Sombalonga have scored. Neil Walker's just taken charge of Middlesbrough. That's a bit of a relegation scrap at the wrong end of the championship table. And Herbie Kane, I don't know if he's a relation to Harry, but he scored after 8 minutes. Britta Sombalonga equalising Britta Sombalonga's early 4th-minute penalty. And they've just started, I believe, at the Cairncombe Stadium in the second half. That's a championship match, incidentally, that kicked off around about 5 o'clock. As Everson Sanchez comes forward now. But Celso's in possession now, deep inside Sheffield United territory here. Ball played in towards the edge of the Sheffield penalty area. Then it's hooked away once more. McBurney jumping very well there. So too was McGoldrick. as they try to hold the ball up on halfway. The ball back to Dean Henderson. He's been widely tipped as England's number one. And, of course, there's talk about him, if David De Gea moves on to Manchester United, about being widely tipped as a potential Manchester United number one. Harry Kane is actually on loan from Liverpool, I'm told, at Hull. So he obviously is no relation to Harry, of course, because he comes from Liverpool. Anyway, the ball back to Dean Henderson. Henderson now with the right foot will whack it all the way centrally up the field. Again, the big man jumping. McGoldrick gets there. So too did Burge. He did really well. Now number 2. No. And I think I don't know if I'm trying to think who wears number 2 here. It's a long time since you've done Sheffield United. It's I think I forgot to put him down on my commentating thing because we're in a little bit of a rush going through it. I can bring you up to date who the number 2 will be for Sheffield United in a minute. we're in a little bit of a royal rush because what happened was somebody called me up about 5 o'clock, and as I'm preparing the commentary and give you it's Baldock. Baldock is the actual number 2. So that's cleared that up. What happened was, funny story this, someone rang me up about 5 o'clock as people knew I was prepping for this game about 4 hours ago. Somebody rang me, a friend of mine rang me, and we were on the phone for about half an hour. And I'm trying to get her off there. Yeah, Baldock wears number 2. Anyway, here's Edna Stevens, who wears number 3, and the ball back to number 19, which is Robinson. The ball played back again. Anyway, ended up having me shreddy week half an hour before kickoff, because that's what I do now is Suzuka comes charging forward, and Bergwijn was there as well on the edge of the area. Lo Celso takes the ball up now for Tottenham. We've covered them a lot so far this season in different competitions. One notable game you may remember is that 7-2 defeat by Bayern Munich earlier on in the season in the Champions League. A defeat which really put a dagger in the heart of Tottenham Hotspur as far as the Champions League was concerned, even though they did qualify, I think, for the last 16. But I can't even think what happened in the Champions League, quite frankly, because that's all over the place at the moment. Hopefully, we'll bring you the conclusion of the tournament. I believe they're going to play a week-long one-leg knockout tournament in Lisbon, and they're going to do a similar thing for the Europa competition, which Arsenal and Manchester United are still in another city. So, still a bit of success on the horizon. And as the ball's played in there, Baldock is just strayed offside as that ball was played over on the far side. Scott Ledger is the linesman on the far side. Well, I should say assistant, really, because we do have a female officiating. So let's not be sexist. As Sean Massielis is the other official over on the near side, nearest me. As we see that opportunity there for Bergwijn, just lost possession of the ball as that ball was played. 0-0 is the score here. In case you've just joined us, we've had 12 and a half minutes gone. Possession, Sheffield United have had 42%. Spurs have had 58%. And that's been the story of the game. Sheffield United have had 2 attempts at goal. That obviously means on target. And still 0-0. And of course, we'll have all our usual mix of stuff here, of course. And of course, keep commenting in the comment section. We'll always read your comments out, and within reason, as the ball's played in there to us. Basham had gone forward from the back there, but ran into the goalkeeper. And of course, Russ will keep you updated with events in the second half at Hull. 13 and a half minutes gone here at Bramall Lane. All the matches now till the end of the season being played behind closed doors for reasons I need not go into. You know that I'm sure you guys will know the situations by now. Doesn't need me to tell you. That's the ball's out of play over on the far side. Deep inside the Sheffield United half, there's one of the Sheffield substitutes there I'm looking at as well. Let's just go through the Tottenham bench. I'll go through the two benches because we haven't had a chance in the opening 14 minutes to go through them properly. So Moore is the Sheffield United reserve keeper. Then it's Jagielka, ex-Everton, formerly in his second spell at Sheffield United, incidentally. Freeman, Rodwell, an ex-Evertonian. So former teammate of Jagielka's, no doubt. Billy Sharp, a Sheffield man, born through a United fan growing up, a true blade. Muse and Zitkovic, they're the Sheffield United substitutes. We'll bring you the Spurs bench as soon as we get a breaking play here. As Ollie Norwood brings the ball forward, looks towards McBurney. McBurney looked as if he was quick from behind, but Sheffield United have possession, and referee Cariner lets the game go on. Maybe that could be a good thing. Here's Edna Stevens. Ball just a bit behind Robinson and out of play for a Tottenham Hotspur throw in about 15 yards inside their own half on the near side. Let's look at the substitutes for Tottenham. Gazaniga's the goalkeeper, and then it's Alderweireld and Vertonghen, the usual, the normal first choice centre-backs as we've gone past the quarter-hour mark here. Harry Winks, Eric Lamella, Dele Alli, Undombele, Oliver Skip, a very promising young lad that's gone through the ranks at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and Fernandez. Our VAR man, incidentally, is Mike Oliver, a Premier League referee in his own right. And if there's any VAR decisions, we will let you know. Anyway, here's Uriah now on the right-hand side. A very, 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 very overhit and poor cross, which goes out of play. They're attacking the Kop in the first half. Not Anfield's Kop, but a Sheffield United-style Kop in the second half. They call it the Kop anyway. We know where the real one is, but that's not being disrespectful to Sheffield United. It's just that Liverpool are famous for it. So we look at Jose Mourinho. Now into his late 50s. You wouldn't look at it from his looks of him. There's hardly any wrinkles there, but he's certainly had more grey hair. Well, when he first started in the job, he had dark hair. But he's grown a lot of grey. His hair colour's changed dramatically in the last sort of dozen or so years. He's been managing 16, 17 years. He's been managing football teams. I think he's more of a 20-year manager. Of course, he came to prominence at Porto all the way back in 2004 when they won the Champions League, having knocked out Manchester United in the last minute in the quarterfinals, I seem to remember, or the last 16 stage. And there on in, he won the European Cup with Porto, and the rest is history. Went to Chelsea, had success there. Should have won the European Cup a second time, but a ghost goal at Anfield denied him. But he's won the European Cup twice, once with Porto and once with Inter Milan. Looking to bring some success here for Spurs as the ball is played in towards Son Heung-min by the penalty spot just to the left of it, in fact, on the far side of the penalty area. And just couldn't make contact there. Lovely play down the right-hand side. Sergio Aurier with a wonderful, wicked low cross. There may have been a little deflection there of the defender Basham, which made it a little bit more difficult. Yep, they did. Beat Martin O'Neill Celtic to win the UEFA Cup. People forget that. Celtic reached the final all the way back in 2003. A very forgotten final, that, I'm afraid. Which is a shame, really, because it was actually a real classic, I seem to remember. I think it was 3-2 after extra time or something like that, if memory serves me right. Yeah, Barry Davis. And a voice that's very sorely missed in English football circles. So too John Motson as well. Of course, I don't know how the likes of Barry Davis, Brian Moore, and John Motson would have coped in this situation with no fans and stuff like that. It's difficult for commentators to really get your spirits off for a game behind closed doors, but we'll do our best. We'll certainly bring you the commentary as you've come accustomed to over the last 4.5 to 5 years now. It's hard to believe 4 years ago we started these live commentaries, and we were a very small time channel. I think they would, Trevor. I agree. I agree. The Sky commentator that's doing this game is not much cop, I believe. So, yeah. And of course, match of the day is back on television tonight. The real match of the day with Gary Lineker, but he's not as good as Des. Let's be honest. In fact, I think the best match of the day is the Trevor Sports version. I think he gets it spot on every single time, and it's a proper retro feel to it. Not like today's match of the day. Des is God, as Robbie Williams once did. If you're old enough of a certain age, like me and Trevor are, you may remember Robbie Williams had popped into the Beebs studio, and he turned up with this T-shirt, "Des is God," written on it, and that was just unbelievable. But yeah, I hope so. I hope you've. By the way, I hope you've been enjoying the Trevor Sports coverage of the virtual Euros of 2020. I've been Russ and myself and Trev and Chris as all the commentators, as Russ mentions there. I hope you've all enjoyed the coverage thus far. We've still plenty of good football to come on that over the next couple of weeks or so. So stay tuned. Trevor will have the next video as soon as he can get a little bit of time to himself. He's a very busy man, as you can imagine. So, be patient. He's doing his best, and he's done a magnificent job in the 2 weeks of live action that he's brought you, with the help of myself, Russ, and Chris. I have to say, it's been actually a treat to watch Chris commentate on there. It brought back a lot of happy memories for me. I sort of like, he was like sort of my protege, if you like. He came up with some good phrases. I've forgotten about the hospital phrase. And there we go. But we've got we just slow down a little bit this game. Still yet to come to the bell. But since football's come back after lockdown, the first halves of most of the games, I think about 20-odd games that since football's returned after what's been going on, after the game was plunged into lockdown, or the league was suspended for a while. It's been 23, 24 of them have been 0-0s, but that doesn't necessarily reflect the full-time scores. I think statistically, if you look at the statistics of the football since the return, the second half of games have been much, much better, I believe, than what we've seen in the first half of games. And I thought we saw something similar at Bournemouth when we came back a week or two back. Hopefully, we'll be able to bring you some more live football on Saturday evening. Hopefully, we'll bring you not one, but two live games. And hope to bring Trevor into the coverage at some point. Russ, obviously. And, of course, Chris as well. And we want to bring all four of them in as sort of return the compliment for what Trevor's done for us over the summer thus far. We'd love to bring them all to our channel as well for audio commentary. He says Kane shoots wide, just to the right of the 6-yard area. Angle was very, very acute, and he hits it into the stand behind Dean Henderson's goal for a goal kick. Dean Henderson has had a marvellous season, but he's not in the running for the Golden Glove Award. But the best English goalkeeper statistically is out there, and I'm going to boast about it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm being a Burnley fan. I'm going to do that as we're just taking a drinks break at the moment. A bit like cricket, this, isn't it? Time for the drinks. And there's the drinks carrier. I'm going to boast about it. Nick Pope's the best goalkeeper in the Premier League and the best English goalkeeper as well. Another clean sheet for him on Monday night. And he made some smart saves towards the end at Crystal Palace. Now, the water breaks, they get one per half. That's halfway through each half. So we're 23 minutes in. So that's round about the halfway mark of a half of football. And gives the players a chance to take on extra energy, extra fluids. And, of course, they'll have their usual mix of a cup of tea and a half-time orange, if there's such a thing at half-time. Used to be in the olden days, of course. You have a cup of tea and a couple of oranges at half time. I wonder if they still do oranges now in the dressing room. They probably still do that at Burnley, because we're still a little bit old-fashioned. Maybe a view from the gantry instead of a view from the boundary at half time. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that could be arranged one day, Trev. Well, the view from the commentary box at the moment, or the gantry, is that it's just taking a little while to come to the boil. Hopefully now that the players have taken a little bit of a drinks break on board. Obviously, because it's the middle still of summer, I can't believe we're covering football. I mean, it's nice to be covering football in the summer, but it wasn't the sort of football we were hoping it would be. We were hoping it was Euro 2020, but there we go. We used to play for a team years ago, and the players would have a cigar at half time. We lost a lot for some strange reason. I wonder why. Probably ran out of breath halfway through the second half, Trev. Anyway, we've got to concentrate on the game as Stevens comes charging forward, and Ure keeps that player in there. Keeps the ball inside by the corner quadrant, but it breaks to McGoldrick now inside the penalty area. And here's number 23, Osborne, making his first start. And now the ball is well shielded there by Robinson. And then Egan. The more central of the three centre-backs, according to my hastily written notes. As can't get over that last comment from Trev. Honestly. This is what our audio commentaries are all about. If you're new to this, hello. What we usually do is get you guys commenting, keep your comments clean, of course. We are a family program. That's one thing I always used to say at the start of every game, but I've forgotten it because we haven't done this for a long time. I've forgotten everything. Anyway, meanwhile, McGoldrick is waiting hard on Lo Celso back on the field of play. He attempts to get the ball back and, just trips him from behind. It wasn't a vicious challenge. He's just caught the back of his heel here. Yeah, just clutches him there. Just a free kick will do, I think, from the referee. Lo Celso, I'm pleased to tell you, is up and about okay. And Lloris has gone right across his penalty area, which is always a bit of a dangerous game to play. I still, to this day, don't understand. That's a miss kick there by Basham. Now the ball's in, and now Davinson Sanchez has possession. Now here's Sissoko, halfway inside the Sheffield United half. Lo Celso, who seems to recover from that little not well. Some playing that one in there, looking towards Harry Kane, and it was too overhit. And it was and it fell very nicely for one of the best promising goalkeepers, I'll say, Dean Henderson. He's done well for his club, his current club. Of course, he's on loan to Sheffield United from Manchester United, so just down the road here. As the ball hooks back here towards Lucas Moura on the edge of the D, then Sissoko shoots, and it was a good effort. Just rolled along the ground a little bit, Sissoko. He's had the two best opportunities that Spurs have created thus far. Good running here. Cross from the left-hand side. Laura had the presence of mind to touch the ball back. Sissoko hit it right-footed. I don't think he hit it as well as he would have liked. I think it was a little bit tame, the shot, and it was easy for Dean Henderson just to just flip himself to his left and just get the ball both his hands behind it. It was a pretty easy save. Just to remind anyone who's, as I said, new to the coverage, we have a bit of banter with the chat, and of course, keep your comments clean. In the second half, we invite you guys to pick your man in a match. Now, usually about the 60th or the 65th minute mark, if there are many contenders, we sometimes go to 60. If there are several contenders, then we invite you. Then usually it's a 65th minute, as just broke off for a second as Urier goes forward. John Egan has gone down, but he's okay, gets himself back up and in the action immediately. Aurier now has possession for Spurs. Infield to Lo Celso. Sissoko, who's been at the hub of most good things Tottenham have done, but Lucas Moura just running into a striped Sheffield United traffic, but in the process winning a free kick off Oliver McBurney. So the man in the match award, whilst we wait for that free kick to be lined up, is that you put the name of the player you want to say. It doesn't matter. You could give it his full name or his surname. But for the vote to count, crucially, you've got to hashtag it. The hashtag JBMLTM. But that comes in the second half. But I'll give you a bit more advice about that as we go along in the second half. Trevor and Russ know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, free kick to Tottenham. It's about 30, maybe 40, 30, 35 yards from goal. Harry Kane's going to have a pop. Goes with it right foot and he gets it all wrong. Wide of the right hand upright and behind for a goal kick to Sheffield United. Right foot, just swerves away from goal as he struck it. And I think he knew straight away as soon as he hit it and it was going the opposite side of the post to where he was intended it. And it swerved almost as like those, remember those airflow balls that you used to get when you were a little kid and they used to swerve about. It looked a bit like that. It just ballooned away from goal. Almost like an airflow ball there just going through the thing there. You know, those little airflow shoot balls you used to get from Asda for $2.99 back in the day when you were about 4 or 5 years old and you first learned to play football with that. Anyway, here's Edna Stevens now on the left-hand side. Stevens in field once again. Now, big chance this now for Sheffield United. That was number 32, Burge. Now, Basham. Here he is now. Basham on the overlap. Burge is there. Burge has the shot. Burge has scored. Burge has scored for Sheffield United. He hit it from the right-hand side of the penalty area. Just to the right of the penalty spot. He found the left-hand corner. And the Blades going from with 31 minutes of the game gone. Big moment this for Sheffield United, looking to go back above the likes of Burnley and Tottenham, of course, with a win tonight. And that's a big moment for them. Very unlucky to lose out. It was Basham's cross. And there's the ball into the back of the net. Lovely pullback. Good first touch. And Lloris was beaten as soon as it was into the net. And that's a big moment for him. 31 and a half minutes gone then at a more or less deserted Bramall Lane bar. 300 people. It's his first ever goal in the Premier League, Burge. What a moment for him. Sheffield United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. And Sheffield United's great season is gathering momentum once again. They're having a good run of it and deservedly so. They've had a good season. This is more now for Tottenham as he goes charging forward. The ball will break for Kane. It's down the area. Good skill by Kane and he puts it in the back of the net. Harry Kane has equalised. 2 goals in the space of about 90 seconds. Chris Wilder is furious down on the bench. He can't believe his team have let the lead slip so easily. And you don't give players like Kane too much space to turn and twist your defence. Mora took possession here, found Kane. He was fouled there. Referee did well, played on. And then he took on 2 defenders. And maybe Dean Henderson should have dived with his hands and not gone with his legs. I think the goalkeeper could have saved this for me. I think this was savable. Having said all that, Harry Kane cutting from the left-hand side. Now, there's a possible handball here by Lucas Moura. VAR has been called. Now, could this goal be chalked off? Egan hits the ball against Moura's arm. It is outstretched, but is it a handball, really? I mean, he's about a centimetre away from when Egan struck the ball again against his arm there. I'd be amazed if this is not allowed, this goal. I think there's nothing he could have done about that, Lucas Moura. He's going down. He was tripped by a Sheffield United defender. The goal has to stand for me. I'll be amazed if it's chalked off here. And from Mourinho's reaction, it looks as if, I think the goal's, has it been chalked off? It's been chalked off. Now, for me, that's not a handball because, first of all, Mora's going down there. It's hit his shoulder. He can't help falling down there. I don't think that's a good decision. I think that should stand. Sheffield United stay in the lead, but again, Mourinho, I think, has got every conceivable right to feel aggrieved about that. I don't think what Lucas could have done there. He was being hustled out by two Sheffield United defenders. He's falling over. Egan hits it against him. And the ball breaks to Kane. Now, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing illegitimate about that goal whatsoever. I think Spurs have been robbed. And this is why VAR is such a white elephant as far as I'm concerned. It's just, I don't think the technology is to blame. It's the people who are using it. I've said this for months. I've said it for months on end. Sheffield United will have to thank Michael Oliver down at Stockley Park because that, to me, was a very generous decision in their favour. And I'm afraid Spurs have been wrongfully denied an equalising goal. I believe that's what should be. I think it should be 1-1. I'd like to get what you guys think of it in the comment section. I think we know what Trevor's bread is buttered on. I think he's agreeing with me on that one. I don't think there was anything wrong with the goal. There was nothing. There was nothing that Lucas Moura could do about it. Anyway, Sheffield United now looking to punish from the throw-in as the ball is played in by Burge, and there's the header by McBurney and over the top of the bar for a goal kick to Tottenham Hotspur. This was the chance just now for McBurney. Well, he played an advantage, didn't he? So how could I think the goal should have stood, Russ? There's no other way of describing it. You can say it was a free kick, but if Harry Kane's got possession, let him get on with it. So, the referee, I'm not blaming Chris Kavanagh out on the field. He played a good advantage, or seemed to be a good advantage, and then obviously VAR stuck their ugly head in and said, right, we're going to have a look at this, and have given it a no go. I cannot believe that. And I totally get where Mourinho's coming from with that. But if I was Chris Wilder, I'd be still furious at the defending on that disallowed goal because it was lame, really, from Sheffield United's viewpoint. It was absolutely lame. Anyway, they've got a free kick. Robinson to take it towards McBurney inside the Spurs penalty area. Inside the final 10 minutes of the first half. Well, we haven't got Panini with us tonight, but I wonder what he would have made of it. It's very questionable. And when we're off the air at halftime, I'll be interested to see what the guys on television make of that because, I think we're all in agreement, Russ, Trevor, and myself, that the goal should stand. I think there's no debate about that. But I think the debate is going to be about VAR now and I think there's. I have to say, I don't know how you guys agree back at home, but I think there's grave doubts about its future and its purpose. Yes, it works well in other countries, but it's not being utilised properly in this country. And I think they seriously have to have a rethink about the system they're using, the way it's being used. Should it be used on location at the actual grounds instead of Stockley Park? I think what the Premier League have done, I think they've gone about it the wrong way. It should be implemented, but it's not being executed properly. And I think they've gone about it the wrong way. And they had the 3-month break in between this league being suspended to restarting to iron out the snags and iron it all out. And we've had controversial decisions. Sheffield United have had 2 go in their favour in the space of 20 days. Remember the comeback match against Villa when in fact Sheffield United conceded a 3 kick. They felt they scored a legitimate goal which crossed the line at Villa. That wasn't given. Now they've been the beneficiaries of a technology type decision. I think UEFA and FIFA actually. I've got to give FIFA their fair dues. In the World Cup, they got VAR spot on. Ollie Norwood's been booked for a late challenge deep inside his own area, which gives Spurs a chance to try and put a few wrongs right here in this first half. Lo Celso's going to take it right to the penalty area. There's one or two men who might fancy this. The other one being Son with the right foot. Lo Celso left-footed. I fancy it with a left foot here for Lo Celso. And it is going to be Lo Celso. Left foot deflects off the wall. It's a corner. It's Tottenham goal looking for this equalising goal, which, in my opinion, should have stood about 5 or 6 minutes earlier. Lo Celso to take the Spurs corner. It'd be interesting to see what Mourinho makes of it all at the end of the game. If Tottenham do go on and lose this, hopefully they don't. It might just save Michael Ober a little bit of a strife as the corner came in. It was fisted away under a little bit of pressure by Henderson. And there was a bit of a swipe there at... Norwood. There's a little swipe there at Son. I don't think it was anything malicious. Let's have a look on the replay. I think Son makes a little bit of a meal of it. I don't think he touched his ear. Touches his shoulder maybe, but and brushes the back of his head. I think Son is making it a bit more than it should be. And I think Son, considering that he's been on national service in the intervening 3 months, might do well to remember there. He's supposed to have been in the national service, the army there up in Korea. Maybe he ought to be a bit more tougher than what he made out to be there a little bit. But anyway, Spurs have got the 3 kick regardless. And it's over on the left-hand side. Son to swing it in towards the near post. McBurney will get it away by the other post and get it down the near side. And it's out of play for a Tottenham Hotspur throw-in. Boulder couldn't keep it in play. 5 minutes or less now to go. I think we've got about 4 minutes rather than 5. Plus any stoppage time. So probably a couple of minutes for the VAR decision. And that took a good 90 seconds or so. Later on, it's Man City Liverpool. You'll be able to watch that on television later. But I just want to say, well done to Liverpool. Worthy winners of the Premier League. And they play some really good stuff. And it was a pleasure to bring some of their matches here on the JB Sports YouTube channel. And it was a fantastic performance. And I think Jurgen Klopp deserves a great deal of credit. As a very glum-faced Jose Mourinho looks very, very looks on across the field. That's the 4th official, Peter Banks, with the face mask on. And that is really good. Yeah. Trevor says, I've got to make a move now. Off with wife to walk with the dog. Fair enough. I hope the dog gets a good walk down there in Hampshire. And we'll see you in a bit, Trevor. And I saw the Facebook. I saw the picture of the dog. It's really good. Okay, no problems, Trev. You let me know when you come back on. Right, anyway, for the rest of us, 3 more minutes to see out. And, of course, we've got the JB MLTM to come in the second half, of course. And, of course, we've got our usual 10-minute break. Don't forget to keep your comments clean. If anybody wants to get a mention or talk about the opinions of the match thus far, let me know in the comment section. Should Tottenham's equaliser should have stood? Trevor's in agreement with me, with my verdict. So is Russ. As anyone else? Yes. And yeah, I think so, United Rules. Good evening to you. Yeah, I think that goal should have stood. I don't think there was anything. Lucas Moura was tripped by 2 Sheffield United players and was naturally falling down. He wasn't trying to gain an advantage. He couldn't stop falling over. He couldn't stop himself from going over. And I would have said, goal. I think that the way the law is being executed by these officials at Stockley Park is an absolute disgrace. Anyway, here's McBurney. He's got a couple of Sheffield United players up ahead of him, but yeah, I think there has to be. I think I'll just break off for a second because Son is on the break here for Tottenham. Inside the area, back to Aurier. Aurier needs to get a good cross in there. Gets a deflection, but it favours Sheffield United. McGoldrick to bring it away, and he finds the goal scorer, In fact, he finds Osborne. Sorry, Osborne. I was just saying earlier, I don't know if you heard me say this, but I'll say it again. If you haven't heard United rules, I'll just break off again because Lo Celso's coming forward for Spurs. Nana Davis, can he get the cross into the penalty area? Deflects. Kane, good use of the chest control. Gets the ball out to Sergio Aurier. Sissoko's offering support on that right-hand side. Sissoko into the area. Sissoko's cross back. There's a man free. It's Ben Davis. Pull back, surely Spurs must score, but a great block. And Spurs probably, then Ben Davis should have tried to shoot there. Here's Aurier, and it's behind for a corner. And, well, John Egan got back there. Has a little bit of a hug there. Has a little bit of a tap on the shoulder there with Harry Kane. And it's a corner. Spurs should be level. There's no doubt about it. We're going up to the end of the normal 45 minutes. We'll have a look at some of your comments at the second or two as the corner comes in and over the top. And a goal kick to Sheffield United. We're now playing stoppage time at the end of the first half, for which we'll have 3 other minutes. I think this is the incident again. Now, to me, Burgess tripped him. Now, for me, Lucas Moura cannot stop himself from falling over because he's been tripped. Egan hits it against Moura's upper elbow or upper shoulder, which bounces into the path of Harry Kane. Now, there's not a lot Lucas Moura could have done about that. And I don't think it would be wise for Lucas to complain to the referee because he didn't make that decision. The ultimate decision has been made by Michael Oliver down at Stockley Park. And I believe that decision was an appalling decision. And I'm going to look at 1 or 2 of the comments before we leave you for half-time because I think they're worth being pointed out, certainly by Russ in a second or two. We're just going to see out the stoppage time. We've got 2 minutes of stoppage time of the 3 to go. Well, Chris Wilder may have a debt of gratitude should his team go on and win the game to thank Michael Oliver because that looked a very generous VAR decision in their favour. But he'll say probably at the end of the game, considering they had to endure a ghost goal not being given at Villa Park a couple of weeks back when Sheffield United thought they scored against Aston Villa and the ball was clear over the line when Hawkeye goal line technology didn't give the goal. Well, he'll probably just say it snakes around, swings and roundabouts. Anyway, here's Harry Kane, whose goal, in my opinion, should stand. Plays it in tomorrow, but he loses possession. And here's David McGoldrick now on halfway on the near side. And the ball will be hoisted forward down that left-hand channel, again in towards Ollie McBurney. Then the ball flicked on by Osborne, making his first Premier League start tonight. And at the moment, it looks like a successful one. McBurney into the penalty area down the left-hand side, but it's well stopped by Aurier, who gets the ball forward. We're into the final minute of 3 at the end of the first half. There are 1 or 2 there's 1 or 2 people criticising VAR, and quite rightly so. I think I'm going to get to a few of these messages because I think it's worth pointing these out. And I'm going to have my own views at half time about this because to me, and I'm just an observer, I haven't played the game, I haven't officiated the game. It's easy for me to sit here in a commentary box or in a studio and comment on these games and say that this, and that decision should be made. As we go into the final seconds of the first half, we played the 3 minutes, and Mourinho straight down the tunnel. He's seen enough when the halftime whistle goes. So Sheffield United leading, but not without controversy. Burge, with his first ever goal in the Premier League, has given Sheffield United, and at the moment they go up to 7th. If they won, Spurs would drop to 9th, and Tottenham, quite understandably, are furious. Harry Kane and Eric Dyer are just 2 of the 4 or 5 blue-shirted players leading the protest here at Bramall Lane. Mourinho didn't bother to hang around. He's gone straight down to the changing rooms, but Sheffield United at that point had deservedly taken the lead after 31 minutes. Burge had scored a fantastically taken goal when we saw the penalty area, just the right-hand side of the penalty area into the left-hand corner. But then a minute later, Spurs thought they'd equalised and the ball ricocheted to Harry Kane. Now, what happened was Lucas Moura had made a good run. He cut in from the right hand side into the central area of the field. He was tripped by the goal scorer, Burge. He was going down as he was going down naturally. The ball was cleared by John Egan off his shoulder. The ball broke to Kane. He took on two opponents, cutting from the right, and scored what we thought was a magnificent goal into the left-hand corner for 1-1. And then Stockley Park get involved. Michael Oliver gets involved and disallows the goal for handball, which to me didn't look a handball. But there you go. It's a disgrace, and it's not the technology that's at fault. It's the people that are using it, quite frankly. And Michael Oliver, who I respect, is a bona fide referee who's refereed some magnificent games over the last few years. He's become one of the best referees in the country, but I'm afraid that is not one of his finest hours, I'm afraid to say, this evening. And there will be discussions about this now. There will be repercussions. I mean, this is my opinion. Before I go for halftime, this was my opinion. Now, they had three, when the league was suspended way back in March, right? When the league was suspended way back in March with COVID-19 and everything else, they had 3 months, which is a long time. They had 3 months to sort all this out. It's plainly obvious to me, looking at that one decision, and obviously there may have been a few others in between. I haven't seen enough of the football to comment too much about it, but I've got to tell you that they haven't cleaned up. It hasn't cleaned up their act at all, and that is, I'm afraid to say, a despicable decision. Let's look at one or two of the comments before we leave here. So Sheffield United and Tottenham would actually leap for Burnley into 9th and 7th position as well. Burnley up in 10th place on 45 points, as you can see, as I can see. So let me look at one or two of the comments at the moment. Russ says, I've just said to a few people, if that's what VAR does and disallow good goals, then I don't want to get promoted. And he's a Leeds fan, and they're in a great position to go into the Premier League. Dar20 says VAR's ruined football. Got to say that. I mean, I was an advocate. United rules said Spurs deserved that goal, and VAR's ruining the game. So you can tell from the live chat there, if you're listening in on the stream, the live chat is saying it all for you. And I've said what I needed to say about it, and quite frankly, it's a disgrace. It's a disgraceful decision. There will be talk about it. Why VAR needed the need to get involved about something like that? I don't even think it came off his shoulder. I think it comes off the back. From a couple of other angles, I think it comes off the back of his back. I can't see why this is. I can't see why this is not. I can't see why the goal's been given. But anyway, there's going to be a fallout from this. Mourinho obviously not happy. We're going to take a 10-minute break because, quite frankly, we need to calm down from that last 15 minutes because it took a while to come to the boil. But Burge's goal is separating the two teams. We're going to take a 10-minute break. Join us then. Welcome back to Bramall Lane. I'm still in shock as to why Spurs are not level in this game due to that ridiculous decision to chalk what looked as if it was a legitimate goal scored by Harry Kane. That was a minute after Sheffield United had scored the opening goal of the game. Scored, of course, by Birch, as we're ready to get underway in the second half. Baldock wears 2. Stevens is the man wearing 3. Yeah, Baldock. Yeah. 2 number 3s. It was Baldock. I did have him down. I'd put him down as 3. Anyway, there's been a late drama at Hull. Wilkes has scored a late goal to defeat Middlesbrough, and bad news for Neil Warnock's team. They've been beaten by 2-1. Both teams back out onto the field here in Yorkshire, South Yorkshire, as the game reconvenes then here at Sheffield United. Let me just give you a recap of the two teams. Henderson, Robinson, Egan, Basham, Stevens, Osborne, Norwood, the captain for Sheffield United, Birch, who's got the goal. Baldock, McBurney and McGoldrick. That's the Sheffield United 11. Let's give you the Tottenham 11 with Hugo Lloris, the captain in goal, Ben Davis, Derek Dyer, Davidson Sanchez, Serge Aurier, Lo Celso, Musa Sissoko, Son Heung-min, Stephen Bergwijn, Lucas Moura, Harry Kane. And I'll give you the substitutes as a reminder. With a second or two, let me give you the Sheffield United substitutes just to remind you. Moore, who's the goalkeeper, Jagielka, Freeman, Rodwell, Sharp, Muse, and Zivkovic. Spurs have got a bit more of a bigger bench, obviously, because they've got more depth in their squad as compared to Sheffield United. Gazaniga's the substitute keeper. Alderweireld and Vertonghen, the 2 centre-backs. Winks, Lamela, Dele Alli, and Ndombele. Oliver Skip, a promising youngster coming through the ranks at Spurs. And Fernandez. The referees, Chris Kavanagh from Manchester, Sean Massey, and Scott Ledger with the 2 assistants. Ledger's on the far side, Massey Ellis on the near. Peter Banks is the 4th official. And VAR, Mr. Michael Oliver, who's been at the centre of all the controversy in the first half. As Sheffield United look to try and press home now, 1-goal advantage and try and increase that. Kane touches it back off to Sissoko, but loses possession. Dyer was fouled by, I think, McBurney on a 3 kick to Sheffield United, or to Tottenham Hotspur, rather. Let me just give you the 2 colours. Tottenham in teal shirts. It's blue, essentially. I don't know why they have to say teal. It's light blue. It's all light blue. And Sheffield United in the red and white stripes with dark shorts with red stockings, of course. As I say, blue is the colour. Light blue. They say teal, but I just think that's a bit too posh for a working man's, for what perceives to be a working man's game. It's blue. Light blue. Anyway, Ben Davis gets it forward towards Harry Kane. Sheffield United attacking the goal to our right. Spurs to the left, where if the fans had been allowed in, that's where the 3,000 Spurs supporters, anything up to 3,000 Spurs supporters, would have been situated behind the goal away to my left. So usually I say they're taking the goal where all their supporters are based. This Lucas Moura goes charging into the penalty area, pulls the ball back towards Kane, and it goes behind for a corner kick. Excuse me, to Tottenham. Moura getting on the ball there, running past defenders, went past Edna Stevens, went past Robinson. Stevens got back. I think it might have come off Moura last, in fact. But I think they've given the corner to Tottenham anyway, because they're lining up for this corner. And it's the 4th one that Spurs have had. Sheffield United yet to win a corner in the game towards the near post. It wasn't a very good corner by Lo Celso. And the ball comes away. It was from the far side, and away goes by Osborne, who's had a good first game in the Premier League for him. Osborne, of course, formerly of Nottingham Forest, having a good first half in the midfield there. Looking to see what he can do in the second half. Spurs in the blue come charging forward again, and Mora loses possession. The ball breaks kindly for Sheffield United. And here's the goal scorer, Burge, who turns nicely there, lays the ball off into the path of Basham. And then he continues his run there. Burge, who scored the only goal of the game after 31 minutes, which is giving Sheffield United the lead. Spurs had the ball in the net, but were harshly denied an equaliser by VAR. I don't really want to go over that ground. If you look back at the live stream earlier on, you'll understand where I'm coming from with that. It was a very, very poor decision from Mike Oliver. As you may have seen on the replay, if you're listening to the commentary and watching it on television, Lucas Moura had made a good run and then was tripped by Burge, who'd scored the goal for Sheffield United just moments before that. He was falling naturally because he couldn't stop his momentum. His momentum took him down. Of course, he was tripped, so momentum took him down. Egan had hit the ball, cleared the ball, and hit the ball in Tottenham player. It bounced then into the path of Kane. It should have been they played an advantage at first, and then obviously Kane put the ball in the net. He beat two men and stuck the ball past Henderson into the back of the net. Meanwhile, Spurs are giving a free kick away, and then VAR checked it for a possible handball, which was given as handball to the amazement of everybody in the stadium, about all 300 of us, plus a lot of the Tottenham players, because a lot of people have said that goal may not have been allowed to. That goal should have stood. I think there's a lot of opinions about that. Meanwhile, Sheffield United have been given a free kick, fouled by Lo Celso, and Oliver Norwood, who can strike a ball from distance. I've seen him do it before in his days at the Championship. He's had a lot of clubs in the Championship, but he's found his natural home with Sheffield United. Of course, he played for Reading and for Huddersfield and one or two other clubs. As the ball's played in there, it was a nice little dink round the corner, and that was almost into the path of Robinson. That would have been a nice little moment for him as the ball was chipped in there. It was once Bono took the free kick, and then the ball was laid in just towards the right of the 6-yard box. But Lloris, the best goalkeeper, one of the best goalkeepers in a lot of people's opinion in the world, and that's a poor clearance by Spurs. That's a gift really for Sheffield United, and they've got their first corner of the game with 52 minutes almost gone in the second half, or in the game, sorry. So they've had to wait 7 minutes into the second half for the first quarter of the match, and it's been gifted to them. Now, will they punish Spurs for that mistake? Norwood will take it from the far side, the left-hand side. First corner, Spurs have already had 4, but have been ineffective from all 4 of them. As the corner comes in from Norwood, a good punch away, under pressure by Lloris on the edge of his own 6-yard area. Back to Norwood again on that left-hand side. Another teasing cross, but it's an easy one there for the Tottenham Hotspur captain, Hugo Lloris, who then boots the ball away from his hands from the edge of his own area. Almost found Son Heung Min. Ball was cleared. Free kick to Sheffield United. Sissoko, the offender, and this is going to frustrate Spurs and especially Mr. Mourinho that little bit more. It's going to aggravate them a bit. Chris Cabinet deciding that it was a foul as McGoldrick now breaks from that free kick down the right-hand side. Ben Davies is the defender, the left back. Here is Basham. Basham, the number 2, running down the line. McGoldrick is offering support on that right-hand side, and then McGoldrick loses it down there, and it's now Bergwijn to bring it away now for Tottenham Hotspur. It goes through the centre of the park, and then tries to lay it out to the left-hand side where Harry Kane could not be found. And Sheffield United were well positioned tactically there. Of course, they'll have drinks breaks again halfway through the second half of the game. And that'll be the time, I believe, that we can start to vote for the Man of the Match award. So when we get to the second drinks break of the match, that's when we'll start the Man of the Match votes. Around about 67 minutes, we'll start the Man of the Match vote. And whoever wins that, we'll pick up our little prize of 100 Johnny Bonds to add to their millions of pounds of money they get each week from their clubs. We're very cheap on this program, as you can tell. That's why we give away Johnny Bonds and not actual money. Anyway, here's the ball played into the penalty area, and it's tucked away by number 6, Basham. Basham doing tremendously well there for Sheffield United. Still leading by a goal to nil. Coming up towards 9 minutes into the second half. We've gone past that mark now. And of course, don't forget, if you've enjoyed the stream, don't forget to hit that like button, please. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and would like to see more content like this, which you will do over the coming days and weeks, don't forget to subscribe. And it goes without saying, of course, folks, hit the notification bell, because then you'll get notified when the next live stream and the next videos are coming. We'll do premieres and things like that. We are stopping virtual football at the end of our League Cup and FA Cup series, which is going on at the moment on the channel. Give them a watch if you want. Our own versions of the EFL and FA Cups. Once we finish those, well, as far as game is concerned, we'll concentrate on Cricket 19 and audio football commentaries as our two main sources of videos for you. Offside against McBurney. Sean Massey-Ellis, the assistant there, giving the decision. Now we're going to see Steven Bergwijn come off. And Argentina's Eric Lamela is going to come on. Excuse me. Just had a little bit of a little frog in my throat. Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm not COVID. I'm not suffering from any COVID symptoms. I was actually tested for it the other week, and thankfully it came back negative. So I'm A1 and able to bring you a live commentary from the Premier League, which is going the way of Sheffield United. Controversial circumstances. They did lead after 31 minutes. Then Spurs thought they'd got the equaliser, and it looked a legitimate goal to me, but VAR wanted to check a possible handball. Mike Oliver, in his wisdom, if you could call it that, decided to err on the side of caution for Sheffield United, and as a result, they stayed in the lead. Meanwhile, they've given away a free kick, a silly free kick there to be given away there by Osborne. Didn't need to make that challenge. And now Sheffield United have got themselves a little bit of defending to do here as we go into the latter stages of the game. This is where Spurs really need to make these set plays count. The ball bouncing around from that free kick from the right-hand side, and it fell very kindly for Sheffield United to bring it out. Mike says, very annoying rubbish. It is terrible. I know the decision's gone against Arsenal's rivals, but even as a staunch Arsenal supporter, should have a little bit of sympathy for Tottenham Hotspur tonight. I mean, that is just... We want to see... I honestly think, Mike, we have to see fair play in this league. And it's something that I've always been an advocate of. You know, we want to see the league refereed and done fairly. Listen, I was all for VAR. Yeah, thank you. Well, that's good of you to say that, Mike. I mean, it baffles the mind. We all love football at the end of the day. And what's been refreshing, what with the stuff that we've been doing on Trevor Sports with the Euro coverage, is that there's no VAR because it's a virtual game. Virtual football, which means no VAR is required, and that's been refreshing to see. And it's opened up the debate as it used to bring, and that's what we want to see more of. I don't think it's the technology that's at fault. I think it's the actual people that are using it. That's the question, and how the laws should be interpreted. I would like to see more decisions for the spirit of the game rather than the laws of the game. A mantra that Jimmy Hill once brought up many, many years ago on The Big Match. He'd like officiating to be done, certainly, through the spirit of the game. And I think that is a fair comment. 58 minutes gone here at Bramall Lane. It's a controversial game. And if Tottenham were to lose this one, they stay ninth. And surely outsiders then for a Europa League spot. Never mind a Champions League spot. But unless Lamela can Do something here, bursting through the centre. Lamella into the penalty area, but Sheffield United got X amount back there, and there we go. It's just not Tottenham's night at the moment as Lloris gets the ball. Mike has been on and he said, I think it's a fair comment. This is Mike. I have to agree with Mike on this one. He says it should be the referee's decision. Why on earth do we need to go to somebody in a studio when it should be the rest call? It's got a point there. I think what should happen, have VAR in, but advise the referee. Or the referee should go to a big screen. Now, why? That actually brings up a question as Basham gets the ball back to Henderson, who kicks long. Now, this brings up a question. I've just brought up a question there, just reading that comment. There are big screens. There are screens by the touchline now. Why hasn't the referee here, Chris Kavanagh, gone over to the big screen and gone over to the screen and seen it for himself? Now, that is a good question. I think, we've only seen one or two referees, and ironically, it was Mike Oliver. You may remember that cup tie at Crystal Palace earlier on in the season where he went to VAR, and I think he sent Milivojevic off. It was a game that Palace lost. It was a third-round cup tie, if I remember rightly. But anyway, Sheffield United are on the attack here, and this is Baldock into the penalty area. Baldock trying to take on his man. He's got Burge on support on the right-hand side, and the goalkeeper lost it. And McGoldrick shoots, but it's into the side netting. And it was McBurney who kept it in play by the far post, and he had the presence of mind to pull the ball back. And unfortunately, David McGoldrick, who started his career at Nottingham Forest, that was not the best goalkeeping I've seen from Hugo Lloris for quite some time. And it deserved punishing more than what it got, and he got away with that there, Lloris. The whole debate brings up a whole can of worms. We've had a lot of controversy since we've been back. We had that ridiculous ghost goal at Villa where for one reason or another, Orkai, who are normally 99.9% of the time very accurate with their goal line technology decisions, failed to spot the ball across the line when it's quite clearly stated. And now this, it's just, I don't know what to believe anymore. I really do. It's a tough one. It's a tough one to take as a commentator, because you want to try and, I thought we saw a perfectly good goal. It's frustration for a commentator when you think it's described a perfectly good goal for Tottenham, and all of a sudden Michael Oliver turns around and says, oh, actually, it's handball. Even though it's accidental, it's got to be disallowed. I think that's wrong. Anyway, we're going to see Mousse, who was signed last summer from Bournemouth. I bet Eddie Howe's cursing his luck at the moment. He's Bournemouth side. They've been big bother. They were beaten at Newcastle last night, or home to Newcastle last night. Mousse's gone on. How they could do with him now down at Bournemouth, and David McGoldrick on. So they've actually got 4 substitutes. They can use up to 5, I believe, at any one time now. So they've got 4 substitutes each left. Hence why we've got a big amount of subs on the bench. So they've both used one substitute. In the olden days, before suspension, it was 3 per game. Mike's been on, and we'll come to that comment in a second, because Spurs are on the attack here with Lucas Moura as Sissoko. Sorry, now Moura, now Lamella into the path of Son. Just gone out to the left-hand side, and Ben Davies is right on that left-hand channel. Back inside to Son, who crosses. He slipped over, which made that cross that didn't get the necessary length on the cross that Son would have loved. And the ball has gone away once again into no man's land, as the ball is crossed back in again by Davies from the left-hand channel. And again, hooked away by the Sheffield United defenders. And I think this has been. I think it's been an enjoyable game for everyone who's watched this on TV. I will go back to Mike's being in a minute, because we've just got we have a breaking play. It's a foul here by, I think it's number 23, Osborne. It was a bit of a high foot, but the referee is deciding to take no further action against Osborne. No yellow card, no nothing. I will come to Mark's comment in a minute, but Spurs are attacking at the moment with Eric Romero on the far side. That's the right-hand side as I look. As the ball comes in towards Son, into Ben Davies, who's just taken up a more central position. Edge of the penalty area now. Spurs trying to work it, trying to ticky-tacky their way to the penalty area, but Lamella ran out of room. Sheffield United containing them very well on the edge of their own penalty area. Moussa gets his first touch and turns Eric Dyer inside and out and wins a throw-in. Right, whilst that's happened, with 64 minutes gone, this is what Mike had to say since the last one. Especially with no fans in the stadium, take as long as you want to get to the right decision. It's hardly like there's extra people in the stadium that need to know when they get the replays from television. That's a very good point, Mike. And the drinks break apparently reminds him of Graham Wrestley's Stevenage teams as well. And I hope that Stevenage actually get out of trouble, because there's talk of Macclesfield having points deduction. If they do get the points deduction for financial irregularities, they could actually be relegated. So there's probably hope for Stevenage yet, and if they do get out of it, good luck to them. It's a bit of a mess down there at the bottom of League Two, as you can imagine. And looks as if they are down. But I'm sure they'll be good enough to mount. If that is the case, Mike, I think they're good enough to get back next year. They're a good outfit. They're a good little side. And they'll get back. They'll get back one day. They're our Football League club now in terms of stadium and stature. Just need to get back there and just pick themselves up. And they'll be back. Don't you worry. Anyway, here's Lamella for Tottenham, who trail 1-0 with 20 minutes to go, or 25 minutes, to go of the second half. We played 20 minutes. This is Aurier with a cross and turned away again. John Egan in the way that time. And here's Sissoko to Lo Celso, down the right-hand channel once again. Aurier is there again. Played into towards Lamella again. Again, good last-ditch defending from Sheffield United. Moussa has it on the line. Halfway line, and he was fouled. Well, I think he was adjudged to have fouled one of the Spurs players. Backing in, I think, was the decision. We're not far away from a drinks break here, as Lucas Moura makes a break forward, and soon as the ball runs steady into touch, I think Chris Kavanagh would be wise to take a drinks break at this point, and then I can bring man of the match into the equation. It's going to be a throw-in to Tottenham Hotspur. We've played nearly 67 minutes of the game and 22 minutes of the second half. Still 1-0 for Sheffield United in a very controversial game here at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United with a win would go up to the dizzy heights of 7th position for them and back into a possible shout for European football next season, which will be a great achievement for Chris Wilder. Up there challenging the likes of Manchester United and Wolves for Europe. A lot of people had them as favourites to be relegated by Christmas, considering that they didn't perceivably had Premier League quality. They recruited more from the Football League, but it's turned out to be good buys from Chris Wilder thus far, which has got them into that position. They're having a magnificent season, and the luck's gone with them. And good luck to them as Sheffield United go on the break again with Ollie McBurney. McBurney running forward. Still McBurney. Good turn by him. And there's an advantage play there. That could work out very well for the Blaze. Stevens in towards the penalty area. Here's Osborne. Back to Stevens. Stevens in the byline. And Moussa tucks the ball into the net. And Tottenham are punished. And what a great piece of refereeing that was by Chris Kavanagh. There was a foul in the build-up on a Sheffield United player. They played on. And here goes Spurs. They switched off. They knew the referee had signalled. This is the break. Good running this by Osborne. Presence of mind. Stevens made a terrific run. Now then, was Moussa in an offside position? Will VAR check this one? They won't be checking every decision on VAR but it looks a simple finish anyway. Was he This will give us a telling angle whether he was offside or not. No, he was onside. Sanchez is playing him on. No, that's a perfectly good goal for me. So 2-0. And there may well be a post-mortem from Spurs. 6th goal of the season from Mousse. Signed from Bournemouth. And they're going to take drinks now, surely. And they are taking drinks, which gives me an opportunity. Let me just clear my throat for a second. It gives me an opportunity now, whilst they're taking that drinks break, to remind you now that we're open for man of the match. And all you need to do is this, folks. If you've forgotten how it works, let me remind you. All I'm asking you to do, this is where you guys from the comment section come into good to do the good deed. All I'm asking for you, the name of the player that you think, because it's voted, the supplementary award is voted for by yourselves. Whoever gets the most votes, simple as that, wins. The name of the player, please, but for the vote to count, this is the nitty gritty. Name of the player, but you hashtag it with the hashtag JBMOTM, please. And you do that in the live chat to the right of our blank screen at the moment, because we're doing this off a laptop computer tonight, as opposed to the usual method of the PlayStation 4. So if there are one or two sound issues, that's probably the reason why. But I know, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Yeah. So using my name as an example, there we go. Yeah, that's my real name, by the way. So yeah, but yeah, that's how it turns out to be, and well, and that's you get the gist of it anyway. So you've got just over 20 minutes to vote for that, and the vote will end around about the 90th minute mark. And if there's no outright winner, then we have I have to have the casting vote as the commentator. Meanwhile, Dele Alli's come on for Musa Sissoko. So Spurs have reacted during that drinks break and brought on Dele Alli as Ndombele has also got on. So they've made a double substitution. So they've got 2 out there, 5 remaining. I don't know who Ndombele's replaced, but we'll find out for you in a second or two. But so if Russ can check that out for me, that would be brilliant. Edna Stevens is the choice of Russ's for man of the match. I just need to know about the Ndombele substitution, Russ. I just want to know who's replaced. So I know he's come on. I caught the other substitute, so I know Dele Alli. I know the Dele Alli one's been sorted out as Sheffield United come charging forward. So 1 vote for Stevens for Sheffield United. That's how you do it. Russ has set the example for you straight away. As the ball is fed out, and that's not going to reach Ben Davies, and that just sums up the way Tottenham Hotspur's evening, really, in a nutshell. It's been a very, very poor season from their standards. Arsenal, I mean, Mike's just pointed out it's laughable when Arsenal, in fact, are having their worst season, but yet they're still above them. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was Uriye, the other sub. Yeah, that's cleared that up. Our Mo Russ, who's been there. Hopefully, we'll have him on commentary at the weekend. We're looking to do 2 live matches this weekend. Hopefully, we'll have the PlayStation 4 facilitator to do it. If that's the case, I will speak to Russ and we'll get him on the earlier game with me doing a later game. And we'll find out what the fixtures are, and we'll figure all that out. And we'll do it as a bumper 6-hour live stream for you, one game after another. Problems for Jose Mourinho. He's got a big job on in the summer. If they're not in Champions League football next season, well, there could be a huge, huge problem. Because what it means now is for Spurs, some of their bigger players want to stay. Harry Kane, a tremendous world-class striker. He'll be touted, obviously, with big moves away. He's been touted with moves to Manchester United and like in the past. You want to have success. At the moment, he's not getting it with Tottenham. And that's is unfortunate. Well, I've got designs on Aston Villa, Manchester United. Russ, to be honest. Well, there's two late games. There's one at 5 o'clock, I think, or 6 o'clock, and one at 8:15. But I'd have to check the fixtures with you for that. As the plan is, if I check the fixtures now, as Spurs are in possession here, but not making any inroads at the moment. Let me just bear with me. Spurs go on the attack here. 2-0 to Sheffield United, in case you joined us late. Some controversial moments in there. If you missed the commentary, you can listen back. So the fixtures for Saturday, as I see it, are there's a Wolves Arsenal at 17 at half past. Oh, it's Chelsea Watford. So yeah, you can do Chelsea Watford at 8 o'clock. I'll do Wolves Arsenal at 5:30 if possible. We'll check that out anyway, Russ. So you can do the Chelsea Watford. I thought it was Manchester United. It's not. It was another. Yeah, it was Sunday. I don't know if it was Sunday or Monday or something like that. Yeah, it's midweek. Midweek I was thinking of then. Yeah. So yeah, you can do the Chelsea game later on. So here we go then. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I love covering Wolves. I love covering Arsenal. Two teams that have been in the Europa League. I think that's a big game. Both challenging still for Europe. I think Arsenal could still get into Europe next season, Mike. I think they're good enough. I think they need to. I think if Arsenal are to get back amongst the big honours again, they're still in the FA Cup, so conceivably they could still, even if they don't do it the league, they could still do it through the FA Cup because it carries, of course, that ticket into the Europa League next season. Of course, if they overcome, I think it's Manchester City in that semi-final, they'd have to overcome either Manchester United and Chelsea in the final. It's due to take place in August. Here's Sonny to the edge of the area. Oh, it's behind Lamella, but Lamella will retrieve it on the far side, the right-hand side now for Spurs. Here's a chance now. Oh, Kane is onside, I think. He goes around the keeper and tucks the ball into the back of the net. But the flag is up from Scott Ledger on the far side, and it will not count. I thought it was onside at first. Ledger's got it right. Scott Ledger's got it spot on. Good assistant officiating. Good spot there by the linesman on the far side. Well done, Scott Ledger. I think this is the goal again. McBurney turns away from 2 or 3 challenges, then was tripped. Then it came to Stevens. Now, was this offside? Well, it could be debated, but the goal stands. It's 2-0. And there's problems. There's problems afoot here for Tottenham Hotspur. And you just wonder now, it's going to be a massive summit for Jose Mourinho. Daniel Levy will be watching and thinking, dear me, you know, I honestly think that, I mean, the stadium has cost them a lot of money. It's cost them a lot of transfer funds. They moved to the stadium. I mean, as Arsenal fans will testify, I mean, they moved away from Highbury, which was their spiritual home for a good century, and it took them a while to bed into the Emirates. I think Tottenham might be faced with the same troubles as Arsenal were for a long time. Here's McBurney going towards the edge of the area, and he's lost possession this time. Lamella will pick the ball up now for Spurs. And still Lamella. He's got underbelly's support. Now then, what can they do here now? They need a goal from somewhere. They've got 2 of their 5 substitutes remaining. They've used 3 of them. 2 in the 1 go at the drinks break. 12 minutes to play. Don't forget, man of the match. JB MLTM and the name of your player. Edna Stevens with the 1 vote from Russ, winning the award. As the ball's locked in there towards Kane. Kane will get a chance. Saved by Henderson, but there's been some pushing and shoving in the penalty area. And Kane sucks the ball into the net for the 3rd time tonight. And as the 2 previous before that is disallowed. And it was a clear push. There's no controversy about that one. I think that was a more clear-cut decision. Well spotted by assistant Chris, by the referee today, Chris Carragher. But it's that one decision in the first half from Michael over down at Stockley Park. There's a vote for John Egan. So we've got a vote for Edna Stevens and a vote for Big John Egan, the big tall centre back. If there's no outright winner by the 90th minute mark, I've then got to choose the winner from those two. So if we don't get an outright winner, I get the casting vote. So hopefully we'll have one or two of the others come on and get their man in the match award. I haven't seen New Caton for a while. I hope New Caton's okay. If you're listening, New Caton, where are you? We've missed you. We've missed your incisiveness, and we want to get you on board again. Real good champion of our channel for many, many years of JB Sports. And that's where we are. Bramall Lane, JB Sports, live audio commentary, the Premier League clash, Sheffield United and Tottenham. And it's Sheffield United as things start going up to 7th. They go up to, I think, 47 points. And Jan Vertonghen's going to come on now for Spurs. Now, this was a strange decision to leave Vertonghen and Alderweireld on the bench. And so they've used our substitute number 4. Harry Kane is furious because his team haven't performed. Davis is the man off. Yes, Jan Vertonghen. And there will be Harry Kane still can't score in July, August. Well, he's had the ball in the net 3 times. I think the first one should have been legitimately allowed. I don't think there was anything wrong with that. I think the second one was a right decision because he was offside, and the third one was a right decision, clearly pushing his man, which was John Egan, of course. You've got just over 9 minutes, folks, to add to the 2 votes by Mike and Russ. One's going for Edgar Stevens, the other for John Egan, both Sheffield United players, known as at the moment for Tottenham Hotspur. And there will be some inquests into the way VAR's operated again. We've had it all season long, right from the very first game away back in August of last year when it was first implemented. Certainly, Match of the Day will debate that decision long and hard into the night on BBC One later as the ball is crossed into the penalty area towards Dele Alli, but he ducked underneath it a little bit. Comes to undone belly, and he loses possession here for Spurs, and away goes Sheffield United. Little chase there for Moussa, who's got on and scored his 6th goal of the season, which has put Sheffield United in complete control. Old Bournemouth could have done with 6 goals from him right now. They might not be in the position they are in now. They were beaten at Newcastle last night. Later on, it's Manchester City against Liverpool. They're going to give a guard of honour to Liverpool, who are the new Premier League champions, and deservedly so. Their first title, of course, since way back in May 1990 under Kenny Dalglish. Here's Lo Celso trying to flick the ball through, and he can't do so. Spurs have made 4 substitutions. I think Sheffield United have made, 1 or 2, I think. Certainly Moussa has come on and done a good job. Scored a goal. And Sheffield United now cruising away with victory here. Not many teams go to Bramall Lane and get a positive result. I can testify that being a Burnley fan, and we were destroyed way back in October by Chris Wilder's men. 3-0. It was a dire performance, if I remember, but Sheffield, we made it too easy for Sheffield United. But they're back on winning form. They had 1 or 2 dodgy results since the league has restarted from everything that's gone on. But here goes. Oh, and it could be a third. It is inside a 6-yard area. It's Oliver McBurney from a magnificent cross by Burge. And that sums up Tottenham's Hotspur's day in a nutshell. They've lost concentration. They've lost composure. Maybe that disallowed goal in the first half has truly knocked the stuffing out of Jose Mourinho's man. And now they'll be going back down the M1 from Sheffield to North London tonight with their tails well and truly between their legs. They haven't been at the races second half, Spurs. Maybe that injustice, maybe from their point of view, of the goal being wrongly disallowed has really knocked them sideways. Good running by Burge, who got the first goal. And he lays it on a plate for former Swansea man McBurney. Taps it in. Near post, 6 yards out. You can't miss those. And Spurs, surely now, with 6 minutes to go, are sunk. It's 3-0. And Chris Wilder, that's another feather in his management cap. He's beaten Jose Mourinho. And he'll want to, we want to tell the grandkids, I'm sure, many, many years later, as Harry Kane gets a free kick. Well, it's just pride now. Spurs are playing for you. And Jose Mourinho, I think there will be inquests. I think if that goal stands, it's a different ball game, and Spurs might have taken control of it. But because of the culture, the nature of the disallowing of the goal, and it was controversial, the disallowing of the goal, I think it's you can't really say would Spurs have gone on to win it if the goal had been given. But Sheffield United got a huge chunk of luck, and to be fair to them, they've taken advantage of it. As Son takes the free kick into the penalty area, came towards the back post, and Sheffield United were able to clear it away. Lamela. Here's Lo Celso now deep inside Sheffield United territory. That's very much overhit, but he's kept that alive. And the cross, in fact, is on the roof of the net. Must have got a deflection. As I think it might have been, was it Underbelly? No, it was Davison Sanchez, sorry. Trying to keep it alive by the byline on the right-hand side. So Spurs have won a corner with just less than 3.5 minutes to go. And it's Lamela into the penalty area as Spurs look to try and wrestle their way to a consolation goal, perhaps, as Vertonghen's cross deflects. And I'm surprised nobody on the comment section has gone for Burge because he's had a goal and an assist in the game. But at the moment, it's a joint one between Edna Stevens and John Egan. Looking for a casting vote. Who will get it? You've got just over 4 minutes to make your man of the match vote count. Name of the player, please, and the hashtag JBMOTM. If you wouldn't mind, please, for those who haven't voted yet. If Trevor's on, have you got a man of the match in mind? Let me know in the comment section. You've got until the 90th minute. You've got about 3.5 minutes to vote. Will it be a casting vote? This is Dele Alli now on the ball for Tottenham. And now Lo Celso. Will he try a shot? No, he's gone towards the near side of Davison Sanchez as well. Cross. It's been kept in fairness by Son Heung-min. Now, Vertonghen. Good punch away by Henderson. And hooked away by Osborne, who's had a good match tonight. Osborne, I've really enjoyed seeing him play. Davison Sanchez, he's frustrated with the referee. He's been penalised. Excuse me, over on the far side there. There's a bit of a shoulder charge. Yeah, pushes Mousset to the ground. You can't do that. Although one can understand his frustration and his team's frustration. They went on the end of a rank VAR decision in the first half, but the second half performance, there's just no excuse for it, I think, when you look at it logically here. We'll be ending our coverage at around about 8 o'clock tonight, live on JB Sports. We hope to bring you, hopefully before then, Jose Mourinho's post-match analysis of it all. I think we might have to stay around for that one, I think. And then we'll come off the air, and then we can all enjoy on the television set the guard of honour that's going to be bestowed on Liverpool a little bit later on. And now Spurs are losing their disappointed McBurney and Lo Celso in a bit of a set two over on the far side. Sanchez involved there, might do. And they're going to have, the referee's got to stop it. He's having words with Oliver McBurney, but I still think Lo Celso was just as guilty as well. And I think Lo Celso should have a talking to as well, at least. McBurney feels, he's booked him. I'm afraid you can't book one player without booking the other. It takes two to tango. I think if you've got to book McBurney, you've got to book Lo Celso. I'm sorry, but you have to. He's got away with it, the Spurs. But what they haven't got away with is any points. And that's 90 seconds away from a victory here as Belly now makes a forward run. Now Dele Alli can Spurs at least stop Sheffield United from keeping a clean sheet. Son Heung-min has possession. Infield to Belly. Belly gets the ball out towards Lamela. Far side. Lamela cuts inside. Last minute of normal time. 1 more minute to both of you. Man of the match as the ball is stabbed into the net. So a bit of consolation there from Harry Kane. He does get a goal for Spurs. Too little, too late. But it was a lovely move from Tottenham. The best move that they fashioned maybe in the entire game. Lamela chipping the ball in. And Son was onside as that ball was played. No doubt about it. Lovely cross back from the left-hand side. And from 6 yards, Harry Kane, the England captain, making no mistake, beats Dean Henderson. And the clean sheet goes for Sheffield United. So a little bit of consolation there for Tottenham Hotspur. And Harry Kane scores his 13th goal in the league this season. And it's been a very much an injury hit sort of season because he was struggling with an injury before the league got suspended, which gave him ample time to recover. And hence why he's now playing the rest of the season. Harry Kane now having one or two words to say to the referee. Now, I don't think VAR is going to disallow it, but I wonder what's happening there. But we're going to see a substitution for Sheffield United. I think Kane's frustrated because he wants to get on with the game, but he's allowing the substitutions to happen. And Chris Wilder, quite rightly, I think, and quite wisely, he's taking Oliver McBurney off, carrying the yellow card at the end of the game. A little frustration may have crept into him there. And Freeman will come on for him at the end of the game. So Chris Wilder will be delighted and annoyed at the same token that the clean sheets go. We're into 400 minutes for which we play one of them, but I think they'll add time, an extra 1 minute on at the end of the game. So 4 minutes of stoppage time, but I think there might be up to anything up to 5 because of the substitution. And look, and as we haven't had time to check the man of the match. Well, it was a tie. I'm just going to give it to John Egan over Edna Stevens because John Egan has put himself on the line a couple of times. Stevens has made some tremendous runs, but I'm going to give it John Egan. John Egan is going to be our man of the match. And here comes Sheffield United now at the end of what's been a remarkably good game for them. There's going to be talk about VAR, and quite rightly so, because the decision to disallow that Spurs goal soon after Sheffield United had scored was a decision that I just found completely and utterly baffling. I couldn't believe what I saw. It was just painful to watch. There was nothing wrong with that goal whatsoever, initially from Harry Kane, and then obviously it's been disallowed. He's had the ball in the net 4 times, once counted, and that was just the last minute or two. So Sheffield United, who incidentally started the evening in, I think it was 10th position, are now going to move up to 7th, and Spurs are going to drop to 9th with defeat now. It's Kieran Freeman is on. Luke Freeman. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Sheffield United have won the game. Yeah, it's been a great night if you're a Sheffield United fan. Tottenham will point to some very controversial VAR refereeing, but all is said and done, it's a great performance from Sheffield United. They scored none in their previous 3 prior to that, although one should have stood at Aston Villa for incompetence of Hawkeye, which is a very rare thing to say as regards goal line technology, because for a long, long time, for the 5 years it's been in operation, the goal line technology, 5 or 6 years it's been in operation, it's actually done a fantastic job. But from that one moment. Now, Mousse and Lo Celso will do well to stay out the referee's book here. Mousse just winding up with 2 of the Spurs players. Probably not the best thing to do, because Spurs obviously, understandably, are frustrated. They've got the 3 kit Sheffield United. Just go on with the game. Egan will take it. Our man of the match. We got about 15 seconds of stoppage time. I should also stress it's a minimum off, and there's a little bit. Oh, dear me. I thought there was going to be some afters there, but it wasn't. And it's Spurs wanting to get on with it now. But the game's up for them. The game is up for them. Kane with a flick on, looking towards Lamella, who might still get there. Stevens hooks it away for Sheffield United, though. Marcel, so we play on. We're over the 4 minutes. Chris Cameron, there's Harry Kane's gone crashing down there, away from the referee's viewpoint. We still play on here at Bramall Lane. 3-1 Sheffield United. Last knockers of the game. Spurs show he can't get back from this. This will be the last attack, I'm sure, as the ball is hooked in there towards Kane. It's a Tottenham ball right at the end of the game. And Sanchez picks the ball off the tee and gets on with it. Straight towards Song Heung-min, who loses possession, and there goes the whistle. Well, there'll be some fallouts from that. There's a nice mutual respect, a fist bump there between Messrs. Wilder and Mourinho. Good to see. So, Sheffield United win 3-1. Burge, Mousset and McBurney after 31, 69 and 84 minutes respectively with the goals. Kane with a response after 90, too little too late. But Tottenham will point at 1-0 to Sheffield United at the point where Harry Kane's equaliser, which we all thought was an equaliser, should have counted. Let's look at the rundown of the goals again. This was the first goal scored for Sheffield United. It was a lovely run here. Ball pulled back. Burge took it right-hand side of the 6-yard box, smashed it across the goal and into the left-hand corner. Then what we thought was an equalising goal here. Kane was fouled, but the referee played a good advantage, or so we thought. Then Mora went down there. Hegan hit it up against his hand, and VAR checked it. But I see nothing wrong with that because Mora is not gaining an advantage. He was tripped by Burge. That's the point I want to make. So that's why the controversy comes in. I can't see that as a deliberate attempt to handball that. I have to be honest. I think that was marginally. I think that was harsh. And I had to do a double take when Mourinho went. Now I think the spirit of the game should have been awarded in that situation. Then the second goal, tucked in from 6 yards from Mousset. Good work this from Osborne, and great work as well by Edna Stevens, cutting to the byline from the left-hand side. And 2-0 it was to Sheffield United. Then they made it 3. Good running this by number 32. Burge got the first goal. Good assist, and McBurney from 6 yards tucks it in at the near post. Right-hand post to make it 3. Spurs did pull one back at the last knock-ins. Ball chipped in there. Son with a cross back from the left. Came from 6 yards out doing the business. He'd also had the ball in a couple of times in the second half, but both were disallowed for a push and offside respectively. But it'll be that VAR decision that will have Tottenham raging. And it puts Sheffield United above Arsenal. And in fact, Arsenal now move above Spurs, and they haven't kicked a ball. Spurs now are down in 9th place with 45 points, on the same points as Burnley, but with a better goal difference than the Clarets. But a very disappointing night for Tottenham Hotspur, who surely their European ambition is now dangling by a thread. They are now 5 points behind Manchester United in 5th place. And if they had any ambitions at the start for Champions League football, then surely it's been well and truly destroyed with this damaging defeat. And that is snapped a 3-match losing streak. We're just going to stay with you for a little while because we're hoping to get some reaction, hopefully, from Jose Mourinho, but it may not be the case. If we get reaction from Mourinho, we will bring it to you live. And that would be, we'll bring it to you live, and be interested to see what Mourinho thinks about that, because we obviously want to get Mourinho's opinion on things. But there will be words said, I think, and I think there's got to be. I think we've got to. I mean, there's got to be. I think we've got to look at the. I think we've got to look at where. I think we've got to look at the way that VAR is run. I think that's the unfortunate thing. We might not get Mourinho's interview. We'll bring you some team news before we go, though. Manchester City have wound up with Ederson, Laporte, Garcia, Walker, Mendy, Gundogan, Rodri, and De Bruyne, who's captain in the side, Sterling, Jesus, and Phil Foden. It's a very much no Sergio Aguero. David Silva's on the bench. That's the side, and there's an opportunity for young Doyle if he comes on later on. But I don't think we're going to get Mourinho's interview at this moment in time. But yeah, very, very bad night at the office for Tottenham Hotspur. Beaten 3-1 tonight by Sheffield United. VAR once again having to rear its ugly head. And how many times have we seen that this season? It's, as a commentator, it frustrates one because you think you've described a perfectly good goal and it just, and then it gets disallowed some 60, 70 seconds later. It baffles the mind, and I find it very difficult to understand why you would not apply the spirit of the game rather than the laws of the game. I think too many officials are not applying the spirit of the game, and as opposed to the laws of the game, there will be serious question marks asked of Michael Over after tonight's decision. But take nothing away from Chris Wilder's men. They're having a magnificent season, as I say. 7th place, 47 points. Many people's favourites, including myself, to go down, but they've proved a lot of doubters, including myself, wrong. And sometimes it's nice to be proved wrong, and they've done a magnificent job. Well, we're hoping to bring you Wolves against Arsenal on Saturday. We'll be going in a minute. But let's move on. Let's put a few dates in your diary for commentaries, because Saturday night we are 3. So we are hoping to bring you a double header of commentary, again from the Premier League. And let me tell you what the fixtures we're going to be doing. It's going to be the 2 later games. Hopefully, that will be bringing you on Saturday evening. So let me just... so Saturday, 4th of July, we won't be bringing you Norwich, Brighton, Leicester Palace, but we will be hopefully we'll be at Molineux and Chelsea respectively. So Wolves against Arsenal will be a 5:30 kickoff. That will be hopefully with me, and then Russ, hopefully, if he's available, will be able to do Chelsea versus Watford for you. So a double header of commentary, hopefully to come on Saturday live on JB Sports. But here tonight at Bramall Lane, a real night to forget for Spurs. Denied by a controversial VAR decision when they thought they had a goal rightfully given, only for VAR at Stockley Park to chalk it off for offside. Disappointment for them, but delight, no doubt, for Sheffield United. 3-1 winners over Tottenham tonight. They move up to 7th. Spurs now 7 points off 5th place. For me, JB, if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscription button and hit the notification bell. Until then, from me, until Saturday, have a fantastic rest of your week, and we'll see you hopefully in a couple of days' time for a double bubble of Premier League action. Till then, take care. I'll see you soon. Good night.